Alright, so in this exercise, we're going to create a moment frame and a braced frame. Okay? So to create a moment frame, all you have to do is to change the property of your framing. So like, for example, I'm going to use this frame here. So I'm going to select this. And then from the instance properties, structural groups. So you can see the parameters here. And one of the parameter here is start connection and end connection. So from here, you can see I can change that start connection to a moment frame. Okay, so what is a moment frame, by the way? A moment frame is a structural system designed to resist lateral loads like wind or earthquakes through rigid beam to column connections. So unlike simple connections, moment connections transfer bending moments, which means they prevent the joint from rotating freely and provide stiffness. So if you want to represent your framing as a moment frame, so all you have to do is to change from here from the properties. Like if I select here a moment frame and then I apply this, you will now see that there's a triangle here representing that the start connection of this frame is moment frame. Okay? So you are telling Revit at the start point of this beam or frame, use a rigid connection that resists rotation and lateral forces. So it's a moment resisting connection. So I also want to do that at the end here. So I'm going to select the framing again and then look for end connection, and then I want that to be represented as a moment frame. So we are simply telling Revit that at the start connection and end connection of this beam or frame, so Revit needs to use a rigid connection that resists rotation and lateral forces, a moment resisting connection. So if I select here apply, again, you can see now here, so there's a solid filled triangle there. Okay, so just a representation that this frame here is a moment frame. Okay, so if I select my structure tab here and then click the structural settings, I can also change here from the symbolic representation settings, symbolic cutback distance. So I can specify the distance here of that symbol. Okay, of that triangle symbol. So here on the beam truss, so I can change this to, let's say, 5 millimeters, and then I'll select apply. So you can see that the distance there will change, right? Okay, so let me just do again. So structural settings, so let's say I'll just make it 2 and then okay. So you can see it change, right? So that's how you modify it. So very simple. Okay, so now the next thing that we will be doing is we're going to create a framing elevation. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to add an elevation. So let's say I'll do it here. So I go to the view tab and then I'll select here the drop down here, elevation. So I'm gonna select framing elevation. So I click that one and then make sure attached to grid is turned on. Anyway, it's already turned on by default. So if you hover your pointer to a frame, as you can see, your elevation symbol is attaching to that grid. So if this is unchecked, so this is how it looks like. So it's just freely created. Okay, so it's not attaching to the grid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make that enable. So just click that, and then I'll just click here to place the elevation. So just click that to place the framing elevation, and then after that just select modify. Okay, so there's now our elevation. So let me open it. Just double click this part of the elevation, the solid filled triangle. Just double click that so it will open up your elevation. So I'm going to click the boundary here. I'll just adjust it. Okay, let me just adjust like that, move like that. All right. Okay, so, and then you will notice that if your detail level here, the detail parameter is set to coarse, which is currently set to coarse, the structural elements are represented as stick symbols or single lines which are single line graphical representation of structural elements. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of representing my structural elements as a stick symbol, so I'm gonna change the detail level to medium, and it will look like this. All right. Okay, so now I'm just gonna select the level here, and then I click that blue node, hold it, and then drag, just move away. Okay, there you go. So this is where we are going to create our brace. So to create a brace, so there's a brace tool. If you go to the structure, so there's a brace tool here. So I'm gonna select that, and then from the properties, I'll be using this. Okay, so hollow structural section 152.4 by 152.4 by 6.4. Okay, and then I'm now going to place it. So using line tool, there's no other option. So there's also an option here if you want to automatically tag your structural framing. Okay, so but I'm not gonna activate that one. I'll just click this one here. Okay, and then I'm gonna snap at the midpoint. There you go. Okay, and then same here. So I click that, and then I select that one midpoint. There you go. And then after that, I select here modify. So I'm gonna select this 2 frame. So I'm gonna hold control and then click the other one. And then I'll select here selection box so I can see the 3D view of that. There you go. So this is how it looks like. So let me just adjust it all the way to second floor. Okay. Let me close the second floor here, and then elevation, and then tile it again. Or you can type WT. All right. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this brace here, and then I'm going to change here from the properties. I can specify here the attachment, the elevation. So you see there's a start, attachment, elevation. So it's 0, so I'm gonna change that to, let's say, minus 450, and then I apply. There you go. So it's also adjusted here in 3D view. So as you can see, the brace ends moves to the lower part of the column. So I'm gonna do that as well to my other brace here. So just click that, and then look for start elevation, start attachment elevation, and then minus 450, and then apply. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna create another 2 brace here to make it X. So I can select the brace again, or another way is you can click the brace here, since I want to create same type as this one. So I can right click that and then create similar. And then I'll snap there, and then click at the midpoint. There you go. So snap there, and then click at the midpoint. There you go. And then modify. So this is now how it looks like. Okay, so there's now our cross brace. So if I go to the second floor, let me go to the second floor here. So you will notice there's a symbol here, right? So there's a symbol of your braces. So if I click this one, so it highlights that. Click this, it highlights that. Okay, so this is the symbol of your brace. Right? So you can modify the symbol how it represents to your model. So to do that, you can go to the structure and then go to the structural settings, and then look for the brace symbols here, and then you can click the drop down, and then I can select here parallel line. Okay, so it also changed here, so just make sure this is check. Okay, so it says here connection brace parallel. So once you select OK, there you go. So there's now the property or the representation symbol of your braces. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to copy this and then put it here. So I'm going to select all of these 4 braces. So I can click one, hold control, click the other braces. Okay, and then let's just copy it. So I'm gonna select the copy tool, and then I'm gonna select the base point here 4, and then I'm going to pick here to place the copy, and there you go. After that, just select modify. So if I go to the 3D view, let me just uncheck my section box and then hide the roof. So I click the roof, right click, hide elements. There you go. So that's now my braces there. Okay, so that's it for this simple exercise. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.